You are now tuned into the Captain's Law Podcast
with your host, Rob Marbury.
All right, folks. We back in the lab. We back in the studio. This is the Captain's Log Podcast covering sports, culture, and perspective. Welcome back. Welcome, man. Where my clap? Where my clap? Where my clap? Nope, that ain't it. Where my clap back in here, man? Holy shit. Extended claps, man. Extended claps. All right. If you're new here, first of all, welcome. My name is Rob. I'm a 40-year-old podcaster, man. I live in Maryland. I've been doing this shit for about 5 years. This is my third go around, man. I started in 2019 during the pandemic. I did it for about 4 years. I took me a little break, and then I came back, tried to do it again. Didn't work, and now I'm doing it for the third time. So the last time I podcasted was January 2020, man, for reasons, just burnout. We'll get into that, man, but the way the format works, and if you've been here, you know what I'm saying, I appreciate y'all for the people who motivated me to come back, the people who've been waiting, you know what I'm saying, the people who don't know they've been waiting, but you've been waiting anyway, man, we are fucking back, all right? And I want to take a moment to say rest in peace to the late, great Robert Bradley. It's my dad. He died on December 5th. I'll get into that. That'll be a part of my perspective take. So before we jump into the sports, man, we're doing things differently now. It's going to be kind of the same, but it's going to have a better understanding. So excuse me if I sound like I'm a little nervous. It's been a minute, man. I was really, really, really trying to figure out the right time to come out and do this. But the reason why I do sports, culture, and perspective is because I always cover sports. The foundation of sports, really mainly the Commanders stuff and NFL around the league and NBA stuff around the league and some Wizard stuff. And my culture and perspective is more so stuff that's might be linked to sports, might not be, might be based on my day-to-day life, things of that nature. I'll try to do my best to tie it in, but it's kind of something that I was doing in the beginning, so I'm just clarifying it more. And I also have another segment that's going to be called Conversations Beyond Sports, and that's when I'll have my guests. So episodes will drop every Tuesday at midnight, and guest episodes will drop Fridays at midnight. So that's how it goes. Without further ado, though, man, let's get into the NFL. Whoa. So this is what we're going to do. Stop. So we're going to do Week 18 analysis as well as playoff picture, right? Then we're going to do some real short NBA around the league. I don't really have too much covering NBA tonight. And then we're going to do what I'm going to call more so perspective. So it won't really be culture. It'll be perspective, but you get it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the regular season is over, right? I will go on the limb and say that I think it was some really, really good football on this year, man. A lot of injuries, a lot of teams who wasn't doing nothing last year that's doing something this year. A lot of teams that had won 13, 14 games. A lot of teams only won 2, 3, and 4 games, man. We'll get into all of that, but playoffs is upon us, man. First game comes on, January 11th, January 10th? January 10th is when wild card games start, so I hope y'all ready. But just to go over Week 18, so you had a Saturday games. You had Panthers versus the Bucks. Bucks won the game, but Panthers made the playoffs. Both of these teams was 8-9. So shout out to the Panthers. Shout out to my man K-Dot too, man. He a big Panthers fan. He from there, so he from the house. I could appreciate anybody who might live in a different state, but you still rep the team for where you from. And the Panthers ain't been in the playoffs, you know what I'm saying, since 2017. So shout out to the Panthers, Bryce Young, and all them good guys, man. Then you had the next game. You had the Seahawks versus 49ers. Seahawks won 13-3. The Seahawks are 14-3, dog. I can count on one hand how many Seahawks games I've seen this season. All I've been catching is highlights. And I think that's fucking dope, dog. Like, I like to see different teams every year, man. And so shout out to the Seahawks. I'm expecting them to go pretty far. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC. Then you had next game that was Saints and Falcons. Falcons won 19-17, but then they fired their coach immediately after the game. So he's gone. Shit, we'll take him as a defensive coordinator. He can come on to the Commanders. Commanders is my team. I'm loyal to the soil. So any Washington, Maryland team, you know what I'm saying, I'm with that. But Falcons finished 8-9. Saints finished 6-11. I see you out there, Chase Young. I see you. I see you. It look like it's you making that turn to really show people what you bought. I hope you do, because when you was with the Commanders, you was bullshitting. Next game, you had the Browns versus the Bengals. You know what I'm saying? The Browns won 20-18. They finished the season 5-12. Bengals finished 6-11. Big claps. Big claps. All right. Big claps for Myles Garrett. Big Dog broke the single season sack record with 23 sacks. 23 may sound like a small number because it's only, 18, 17 games or 16, 17 games or whatever, but still, like, you're going up against grown men out here. You talking about somebody who pushing through, 1, 2, 3 people sometimes and still getting to the quarterback. And, he big as fuck too. So that ain't no short milestone. Like, that's super dope, bro. So congratulations to him. Next game, you had the Colts and the Texans. Texans won that game 38-30. Texans finish 12-5, and the Colts finish 8-9. One thing I will say about the Colts is I really feel like the Colts were going super far in the playoffs. Who knows? Maybe even a championship game if their quarterback Daniel Jones wouldn't have went out with the ACL. Like, before that, they was cooking. I think they was like 7-1 or 6-1 or something crazy before he got hurt, and it was just all downhill after that. So speedy recovery to them. You definitely can count on seeing them next year. Next game, you had the Titans versus Jaguars. Jaguars beat the shit out of the Titans 41-7. I mean, the Titans is garbage. I feel bad for Cam Ward, but it's a part of the growing pains. You'll start off like this, and as time goes by, you guys get some draft picks, and y'all will be back in the mix. But they finished the season 3-14, and the Jaguars finished the season 13-4. Just want to add that the Jaguars ain't been to the playoffs since 2017 either. So I'm expecting the Jaguars to upset some of you guys' favorite teams out here, man. So shout out to Trevor Lawrence and them boys, man. Next game, you had the Packers versus the Vikings. The Vikings won the game 16-3. Meaningless game. The Packers made the playoffs. They're number 7, and the Vikings didn't win shit. They're gonna be at home. But shout out to my man Chizzy, because he is a diehard Vikings fan. So Skol, whatever that shit. Somebody tell me what Skol mean. Next game, you had Cowboys versus the Giants. Giants beat the Cowboys ass 34-17. Cowboys finished the season 7-9-1, and the Giants finished 4-13. Well, one thing I'll say about the Cowboys is you just don't cease to amaze me, because I know why some teams, like my team, the Commanders, I know why we only finished 5-12, but I'm trying to figure out how the hell y'all only won 7 games. But y'all had you had two top receivers in the league, and one of them made the Pro Bowl. But what can you do when you averaging giving up 30 points a game? You can't beat nobody. Hence you losing 34-17. But better luck next year, bums. Sorry, y'all, if I'm a Cowboys hater, but that's just how I go. Next team, you had the Jets versus the Bills. I mean, the Bills won 35-8. Jets finished 3-14. Bills finished 12-5. I mean, I guess the only highlight you can say about the Jets this year is they didn't throw no interceptions the whole season. So it's like, I mean, I guess. But for the Bills, man, this a make or break year for y'all. Every year it's always because of Joe Burrow, because of Patrick Mahomes, or because of Lamar Jackson. That's why they couldn't make it. None of them are in there now. So there's no excuses. But you still got Drake May, Bo Nixon, all them to go through. So good luck. I honestly got them making an early exit. That's just my prediction, and we'll get to playoff predictions later. Next game, you had the Lions and the Bears. Lions won this game 19-16, but the Lions did not make the playoffs. They was only 9-8. The Bears made it. They are 11-6. Shout out to Caleb Williams and them boys, man. I'm excited to see them. I just feel like they flip-flopped their season from last year to how the Commanders was, and now they doing pretty sweet, and we some garbage. I'm going to give credit when credit's due. Next game, you had the Chargers and the Broncos. Broncos won the game 19-3. Broncos finished 14-3. Insane, man. Chargers 11-6, man. The Broncos are the number 1 seed in the AFC, man. Watch out for them. Their defense is crazy. I got them going pretty deep in the playoffs, man. I ain't just saying these teams going pretty deep in the playoffs 'cause they won 14 games. I don't watch some games. They just a powerhouse. Simple as that. Defense win Super Bowls, bro. Next is you had the Cardinals and the Rams, and you had the Rams won the game 37-20. Cardinals finished 3-14, and the Rams are 12-5. Cardinals are just terrible. I wonder what they're gonna do with Kyler Murray because that's a whole lot of bread. And at this point, you need to go ahead and break that up. And the coach got fired. But I will say that the Rams might be becoming my second favorite team to watch. So I will say that I always have my diehard team, which is the Washington Commanders, and then I'll have my other favorite teams to watch. So the last 2 years, my favorite teams to watch were Detroit Lions, mainly because I was watching them on the Hard Knocks, and I like the coach. I like Dan Campbell. I like what he's doing over there. But I like what I'm seeing with Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. I know he hurt, but I just like the team. I like the team. I like Matt Stafford too, man. So they got a good little squad. I'm expecting some good things to come from them. So best of luck to them. Next game, you had the Chiefs and the Raiders. Raiders won the game 14-12. This was a meaningless game. They finished 3-14, and the Chiefs finished 6-11. Max Crosby wants out, and the Commanders, we want you. So do what y'all need to do and get that bread together and go ahead and bring them to the house because we're going to be getting rid of a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that. We're going to be getting rid of a lot of people, and we're going to have some money, and we're going to have some draft picks. So come on to the house. Max Crosby still got plenty gas in the tank. We'll take him. Then you got a Commanders game. That was Commanders versus the Eagles. They won 24-17. We finish 5-12. Eagles finish 11-16 to go into the playoffs. Shout out to Josh Johnson, man. Older guy. I mean, he looked like he's 21 out there, but he's 39 years old. He done been on 10 plus teams, and he just went out there, was like, we ain't just gonna fold up and just lose the game for no draft pick. Whether we won that game or not, we was only gonna move up from the 7 pick to the 6. So I think it was important to just go out there and handle business and play football. You know what I'm saying? So we'll do more deep dive on Commanders after that. And the last game, which is probably the biggest heartbreaker shit of the season, Ravens versus Steelers. Steelers win by 2. Ravens rookie field goal kicker misses the field goal. Ooh, baby. Missed the field goal. They finished 8-9. Steelers and 39,000-year-old Aaron Rodgers are going to the playoffs, man. That's a heartbreak, dog. They bust your ass that game, man, and you got one job is the kicker. He a rookie. This will follow him around his whole career, but I think that, in his future endeavors, if he stay on the team or he go to another team, he'll find a way to prove himself. He'll kick plenty of game winners, man. It's just a learning experience. But they out of the playoffs, man. And as of 30 minutes ago, they fired the coach. So Baltimore coach John Harbaugh is gone. He's out of here. So you got kicker most likely going to be gone, and you got the coach gone. So anyway, just a deeper analysis on the Commanders, man. So yeah, we finished 5-12, man. So I'll just say that we did the best we could with what we had. We had so many people went down the first couple of weeks. We had Austin Eckler go down. You know what I'm saying? Zach Ertz, Jaden Daniels. You know what I mean? We ain't had Terry McLaurin for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Our other receiver, Noah Brown. Man, come on. The list goes on. We had a lot of our key players hurt. All right. So not to mention suspect offensive and defensive calls. Dan Quinn got to step in and start calling defensive calls because Joe Witt don't know what the fuck he doing. But, man, I'm not making no excuses for my team. I'm just saying that the record that we have is the record that your team or any other team in the league would have with the amount of injuries. If you lose your star quarterback, running back, receiver, defensive end, corners, come on, man. Everybody got injured except the damn mascot. So, I mean, honestly, we ain't really do that bad if we finished 26th out of 30 or 30 or 32. You know what I'm saying? Compared to other teams only won 3 games and they had no injuries. So we ain't really do that bad. But since the season is over, it's time to make some moves. So you already know, if you don't know, Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt, they out. It's no secret that Cliff Kingsbury was going to roll because He was already considering leaving last year to take a head coaching job. So he's gonna be somebody's head coach. Joe Witt, I don't know what he gonna do. But I just wasn't really feeling that. Defense always been our issue, man. But I just always felt like not only, we ain't had the strongest, defense, particularly the secondary, but I always felt like they was just always in the wrong place. And it's like they had to make too many adjustments and just, end up getting burnt. It's like, are you getting burnt because you're just slow, or you getting burnt because you just not being put in the right position? I think it's a combination of both. But get him out of here. You know what I mean? But anyway, it was only a matter of time, dog. And my best of luck to them. But I'm just curious to who gonna be our offensive coordinator next. But Dan Quinn, for now, he needs. I wouldn't even hire nobody. I'd be like, nigga, you need to call them plays. But I was upset, you know what I'm saying, because I'm a diehard football fan. But I also had to take into account, well, yeah, this the third string guy in there. You put Marcus Mariota in there. I ain't like the way we was using Marcus Mariota. Why he running? Like, why he getting direct snap, running read options? Like, come on, man. This dude 38 years old, and we out here running him. Like, use your running backs, man. And that's another thing. Use your running backs correctly. You got 3 running backs. You know what I'm saying? You got Bill, you got Rodriguez, and you got McNichols. When you got an open field, sweep type run, off tackle, you use Bill. You know what I'm saying? When you got maybe just a little cut, and maybe even a little halfback joint or just something up the gut, first down type of joint, you use Rodriguez. When you got a 3rd and 1 or 4th and inches and you really need, or you on the goal line and you really need that touchdown, you should be using McNichols. Y'all be calling these goofy ass plays and you be using the wrong running back and be wondering why we get in the red zone and we just be settling for field goals. There's so many touchdowns we left on the table for just picking the wrong play. And then we pick the same plays. Run, throw, field goal. Bruh, at some point we're going to get on the goal line. You're going to have to heave that motherfucker, or you're going to have to something besides like just this predictable play. The whole NFL know what we're going to do. Like, let's change it up a little bit, man. I watch these other teams, man. They be doing all types of wild shit. They be scoring. And we be struggling to get 1 yard. Quarterback, all he got to do is just go forward. Why we ain't doing the damn tush push? We on 4th and goal on the 1. Why we ain't tush pushing? Why you ain't just, you want to hand the ball to Bill, who the smallest running back, and expect him to run through 10 niggas on the line waiting for you? Stupid. You know what I'm saying? But cuts, right? Who would I cut? I'm going to say who I would cut. And I'm going to say who I would cut most definitely. And there's probably some other people that's questionable. I mean, y'all probably ain't going to agree with me. I don't care. But number 1, I'm cutting Austin Eckler. He just an older running back. I don't think we need him. Sorry. Zach Ertz, devastating injury. Plus, he looked like he was definitely showing his age out there this season. So I would hope he would just retire, but I would cut him. I'm cutting Marshawn Lattimore. Do I even need to go into why I'm cutting Marshawn Lattimore? All right. Deebo Samuel. I'm cutting him because I feel like he gonna ask for some bread, and number 1, he ain't worth it, and we ain't got it. I'm cutting Bobby Wagner just for age. Like, honestly, if there was a way for him to stay and reduce some bread, then I would say keep him. And I'm cutting Von Miller. I just feel like with Von Miller, we ain't really get enough out of him. You know what I'm saying? So those are my most definites that I'm cutting. I mean, let me know if there's somebody else, you know what I'm saying, who you would keep. But as far as that, let's get to the playoff picture real quick. Playoffs, all right. So looking at some games. So I'm just gonna call it how I'm looking at it online. I have Buffalo versus Jacksonville. Wow. Buffalo versus Jacksonville. I mean, my heart wants to say it's going to be the Bills, but it's in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville is hot. So I'm going with an upset. I'm going with Jacksonville. Then you got next game, you got the Chargers versus the Patriots. I'm going with the Patriots. And then you got Houston versus Pittsburgh. Somehow, some way, Pittsburgh is going to win the game. I'm going to just leave it right there. On the NFC, you got the Rams. You got the Rams versus Carolina. I'd love to see Carolina win, but I don't think it's going to happen, so I'm going to go with the Rams. You got Green Bay and Chicago. I think that's going to be a close game. But I'm going to go with Green Bay on that one as upset. And then you got San Francisco and Philly. It's in Philly. It's going to be a close game too. I think this game is going to be the battle of whose running back is going to do the most work. And I'm going with San Francisco. I'm going with San Francisco because I don't like Philly. So those are my predictions. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all think, or let me know if y'all think any different. All right. On the basketball. Okay, so let me first start off by saying that I hate the basketball that I'm watching right now. I hate it. Like it's basketball is in the worst state that it's in right now. All I'm looking at is a bunch of 3-pointers and a lot of flopping. Like, and I'll try not to use no players, but I'm just saying what I see. This is what the league is turned into. I was watching the game last night. I was watching Golden State versus the Clippers, and Snoop Dogg was on there. Shout out to Snoop. Snoop is a national treasure. He can do no wrong. He ain't everything. That nigga stay busy, booked and busy. He is the side quest king. But even he was commenting like, you know, Draymond taking 4 or 5 3-pointers. Like, people who shouldn't even really be shooting threes, man. And it's just a lot of flopping, dog. I was watching the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Philadelphia 76ers game a week or so back. And this game went down to the wire. It went to overtime, actually, man. And, you know, Ja Morant was cooking. But the problem is Ja Morant, he's good at one thing, but he be trying to do other shit. Ja Morant be trying to shoot threes. Like, that's not your game, bro. Your game is taking niggas to the rack or giving them the floater or chitty bang bang on their head. But he trying to shoot threes. Every time he just went to the rack, it was a bucket. He was getting a foul. But then, like, he had, jumped up at the ref like, oh, man, that was a foul. They showed the replay. This nigga was nowhere near him. I'm like, dog, are y'all delusional? Like, you're not being touched. Y'all just falling on the ground. Shea, I said I wasn't going to use no names, but I got to throw the MVP in there. Right now, he is the king of drawing the fouls that ain't there. All this falling on the ground, all this wrapping his arm around you when he going up for the shot, all this jumping into you and then sticking his leg out. Come on, man. This is not fucking basketball, bro. And you wonder why y'all ratings is down. I actually want to ask y'all about what y'all think about what do y'all think about this the way they're showing the games. I'm curious to what y'all think about that. I have there's a clip that I want to play. I need to find it. There's a guy that I follow on TikTok. I got to get his name. He posts a lot of stuff about sports. He does a lot of sports like analytics, but he do like these real cool graphs. And he broke down how like the revenue and, you know, pretty much, you know, what he was doing, what the NBA was doing, and how it would affect us and it's, you know, the viewers and how we really getting to watch more basketball. I need to find the video. I usually don't stop talking. Here we go, right here. All right, 2 seconds. Shout out to Sports Ball on TikTok. I'm about to play this for y'all.
The NBA season is about to start, and watching on TV will look a little different this year. That's because in 2024, the league signed a new media rights deal, meaning big broadcasters will now pay billions over the next decade for rights to air games on TV and streaming. With the new deal, those rights are split between 3 partners: NBC here in green, Disney in red, which owns ABC and ESPN, and Amazon Prime Video in blue. Now, each partner gets its own share of games to show, and each column on this chart represents one of those networks, with every row showing a day of the week. On Mondays this season, Peacock will stream doubleheaders. Tuesday games will be on NBC, Wednesdays on ESPN, Thursdays on Amazon Prime, Fridays on Prime and ESPN, Saturdays on Prime and ABC, then finally Sundays on ABC and NBC. Bear with me here as we layer in the special games this season, which look like this. Tip-off night, October 21st, will be on all three networks, same with the NBA Cup. Christmas Day games just on ESPN and ABC here, All-Star on NBC and ESPN, playoffs on all three, and then finally the NBA Finals on ABC. Okay, that's a lot, but here's what it means for the league. Last season, there were 172 nationally televised games. This year, that number jumps to 247, about a 44% increase, in the NBA's way of putting more basketball in front of more people across the country. It gets interesting when we look at individual teams, with this next chart showing a blue bar for every team representing how many of their 82 games will be shown nationally this season. At the top is no surprise, with the Lakers, Warriors, Thunder, and Knicks each with 34 nationally broadcast games. Then at the bottom are teams like the Raptors, Wizards, and Jazz with just 2 each. Now, if we mark last year's totals with these black lines in the middle, we can see who gained and who lost the most since the change. The Rockets here jumped from 3 to 28 national games. The Thunder added 19, and both the Pistons and Cavs gained 15. On the flip side, the Suns will lose 10, while the Sixers and Pelicans each will lose 7. This change is a big deal, as it comes around once every decade or so in these leagues, and with this change comes big money. Last season, the NBA's total estimated league revenue was just over $10 billion, made up of national revenue here in blue, ticket sales in red, sponsorship in green, local media in orange, and the other stuff in gray. With this new deal we just discussed, that blue bar almost doubles, and even if all the other buckets stay exactly the same, the total league revenue rises roughly 40% overnight this year. It's a massive shift for the leagues, the teams, and the players who will soon see those increases reflected in the salary cap and their contracts. A lot of people have a lot of different thoughts on these kind of deals, but the main thing to know is that the NBA will look a little bit different this year on TV. Follow for more.
Again, shout out to Sports Ball, man, on TikTok. Look him up. So, I know that was a lot, man, but in a nutshell, you're able to see a lot more basketball. Peacock shit's kind of dumb. Like, they got, like, NBA 2K, green checks, swish, and all that. But I do like the idea that a lot of teams that we don't get to see outside of the big name teams, because here on the East Coast in Maryland, what games do you see? All the early games are the same. It's either Boston, or it's New York, or it's Philly, or it's it's the Wizards because I live here, but it just be them. And then the late games is what? It's the Lakers, it's Golden State, it's the Rockets, or it's Phoenix. And like that be it. So there's still way more teams, you know what I'm saying, that we can be watching. But I think it's cool, even though basketball still kind of sucks to watch. You know what don't make sense to me about basketball right now? I'm skip the flopping. Right now, you know, in this day and age of the year 2026, you know what I'm saying, we are at the top of our game as far as technology, medicine, recovery, and top money. These players making all these bread. These players is coming to the league. Everybody's skinny now. Like, these real big players ain't coming out no more. But yet, it's still people, you know, taking rest days. It's still people allegedly getting hurt, sitting out, and all this other crap. I don't understand it, man. I just feel like the NBA just getting a little too soft. And that's why, like, it's weird for me to say, but I appreciate players like Dylan Brooks, who get out here and get in these players' faces, no matter how big your name is, and rattle them up and get people to just really, really play hard basketball. I'm not seeing enough hard basketball. I'm seeing hoop, but I don't want to see 3-pointers and shit all season. I don't want to see that, all right? Like, let's get back to basic hoop. The last time I played basketball, man, like played, was in a gym, and everybody was just shooting threes, and I was like the only one taking layups. They wasn't even checking me. I'm like, so nobody takes layups no more? But, you know, that's the kids are gonna do what they see on TV. You know what I'm saying? They figure, well, shit, it's easier wear or tear on my body if I'm only running 3-point to 3-point. If everybody just shooting threes, you ain't got to run that much. You won't get tired. You can play longer. That's the concept, but it's boring basketball. And last thing on the Wizards, man, is rumor has it that Trae Young is getting ready to get traded from Atlanta, and the Wizards is trying to get him. Look, I'm just going to go on the limb to say that's a bad idea. If he was a problem there, he's going to be a problem with us. If he's there and he don't give a shit, what make you think he going to come to a way worse team? We only won 9 games, 10 games, 10-25 or 10-26. You going to come to a team that's worse And you're going to have to pay him some bread because he's going to come in and you're going to have to give up C.J. McCollum, probably some draft picks. And he just going to be jacking threes all night. These are one of the people that jack threes every night. So I don't know about that, man. But we'll tune in to more basketball later. And my last segment, man. Last segment. I want to talk perspective, all right? So 2 things I want to discuss. I want to discuss making it back into the space. You know what I'm saying? Making it back behind the mic. And then I want to talk personal loss. So I'll do making it back into space first. So again, as I mentioned before, man, this will be coming up on starting my 6th year in podcasting, man. So I ain't new to this. This shit come natural. You know what I'm saying? I do this on my own. We do this for other people. I got a man. Shout out to Keenan Mims of Millennials versus the World, man. Give my man a clap. All right, shout out to my good man. Shout out to Mikey from Vulture Pod, man. Shout out to him. Clap it up. These are people that I know personally that started podcasting, you know, either before, during, or after me, man, and still been doing it consistently. And I would say that that's a hard thing to do, man, especially, you know, when you're doing it by yourself. I ain't here to make no excuse. I'm just being honest. I'm kind of like a perfectionist, you know, when it comes to this media type stuff. You know what I mean? I do this and I do camera work too, photography, videography, and I take it seriously. So it's like when my name is on something, it got to look a certain way. And for things to look a certain way, it take time. You know what I'm saying? Anybody could just take some shit and just upload it and call it a day. But, you know, video, editing, making clips, you know what I'm saying, reaching out to people, doing research, you know what I'm saying, and still having a whole family, it can be a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I think the mistake that I made was not knowing when to take a break, right? Number one mistake was not knowing when to take a break. And number 2 was not having a community, not having a community of creators. So not having someone who was either in the same realm that was doing something similar, somebody to bounce ideas off of, somebody to go to when you just didn't have it. I didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? It was just me. And as a result, you know, I spent a lot of nights up to, you know, 12, 1 in the morning editing, trying to make clips, all because I was trying to get some money. I was like, man, I'm trying to get paid. I'm good. I was like, I'm listening to these other people's shit. These niggas shit not good. You know what I'm saying? Fuck with me. And I had to take that mindset and throw it out the window. So what's different now is I'm talking just to talk. I just want to talk, man. That's it. I just want to talk. I just want y'all to listen if you want to. If not, I'll talk to myself. It don't matter. I bought the equipment years ago. It's already paid for itself. So I got somewhere to store it. It means nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? But talking on this mic means everything. So now what's different is I will only be podcasting from this. I would be taking a break. Once NBA Finals is done, I'll take a break and I won't come back on until Week 1 NFL. So during that time, during that summer, I have a summer break. You know what I'm saying? Like if other people have podcasts that, you know, I would probably try to be a guest on, I would do that. But as far as like me physically recording in my space, probably not. Not to say that I may not batch record like some interviews and stuff like that. But as far as like me every Monday coming in this joint, sitting down and spitting, nah, I'm not gonna be doing that. So next. You know what I'm saying? I got a community. I got a couple of folks who I can bounce ideas off. So I just told them, I said, look, man, just hold me up when I get down, man. And, you know, they promised that they would do that. So, and what else? So this is only audio, right? You know what I'm saying? I know last time when I said this, I said I was only doing audio. Then I went back to video. I'm only doing audio. All right, video cool, but to me, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, man. You know, it really ain't worth it. I mean, it's honestly, it's hard to please people to sit down and watch you talk. You know what I'm saying? I feel like audio is the foundation of podcasts anyway. And majority of podcasts these days are still consumed by just putting earphones in or having it playing in your car or playing in your house while you in the garage or something like that. So that's my plan. That's how I'm doing it. I'm not bending from that shit. I got a camera. I got multiple cameras, but no. With this, I can just, once I'm done with this, I can upload it, pick a title, and send it out. So this will be out before the end of the night. And just fun. Just to make sure I'm having fun, man. Like, I think that's the most important part. Going back to the foundation of why I started, realizing that this is supposed to be fun and ensuring that I never lose that again. Like I want to be able to do this another 5 years. I want to make it. My goal is to do 10 years of podcasting. And granted, you know what I'm saying, I lost 100 and probably 65 episodes. I still have the video episodes on my YouTube. If you want to look it up, it's Robert Marbury. It's a picture of me, big smile and big face ass. I'm on there. But I got a playlist on there that says old podcasts. All my joints from 0 to 159, they on there if you want to check them out. But I'm starting from episode 1, and my goal is to, just like I started the first time, is to record at least 100 episodes that nobody might not listen to. I got that from Kev on stage. Shout out to him. If you ever want to, hey Kev, if you ever want to have me on the pod, man, let me know. I'm there. I'll fly out. You fly me out. Pause. And that's it on that. So, last thing I want to talk, personal loss. So this will be strictly perspective. So, December 5th, my dad passed, man. You know, he died from respiratory failure. He had been in the hospital since August. And, you know, in a nutshell, man, if you don't take care of your body, it ain't gonna take care of you. But that was a tough time for me, man. You know, from August until December, like the day before his birthday was August 12th. So I'm like August 13th, 12, 13, 14, whichever day he was in the hospital, all the way till December 5th, he was in ICU at George Washington Hospital in downtown Washington, D.C. Either me or my sister, we was up there every other day. You know what I'm saying? To just make sure he was good. And they did a lot, dog. They did a lot to try to keep him going, man. But like, you know, he had cirrhosis of the liver. You know what I'm saying? He had permanent damage to his lungs, and you know what I'm saying, he had COPD. So he had all this stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? He had to get a tracheostomy put in, and I mean he was fully dependent upon it, you know what I'm saying? So he couldn't talk. And but he was up and at him, you know what I'm saying? They was, you know, pumping him with steroids, antibiotics every day. And he was up and at him, but it was just like every time they would try to wean him off some stuff, he would fall back into that state. You know what I'm saying? From when he first went in the hospital. And that's kind of when I knew in my mind that he, you know, he really on borrowed time. So, you know, me and my sister, I said, look, man, we going to keep, you know, unless he flag us down and tell us otherwise, we're going to keep letting the hospital do as much as they can until they tell us they can't do nothing. So, things start getting worse. You know what I mean? Some things that just wasn't able to be fixed started progressing more, getting a little more aggressive until they told us, hey, look, we can't do nothing else. And we said, okay, well, we want to go ahead and let's just make him comfortable. So we did a comfort care thing, and, you know, he had passed that night. So, you know, we kept him on ice for about 2-3 weeks so family can come into town. And we had the funeral on January 3rd. And in my head, man, I thought I was good. I was like, man, you know, I've been seeing him in the hospital for this long. So the funeral, I was like, man, I'll be good, man. I was like, I'm kind of numb to it, man. Prior to that, you know what I'm saying? In between that time, my cousin Sean, rest in peace to the late, great Sean Richardson. You know what I'm saying? He passed. He had diabetes. He was 39 years old. He passed. Favorite cousin, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, funeral coming up later this month. And then Christmas Eve, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to the late, great Kate Whaley. She died Christmas Eve, you know, my dad's sister. So just a lot going on, man, you know, all at once. And got up in that funeral, man, and was just bawling my eyes out from the beginning to the end. And I needed that though, man. I needed to do that. I needed to get that out, man. I was like, this ain't no time to try to be macho, man. This ain't no time to try to be the strongest man in the room. This is a time to just let it out, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, what's crazy is, like, I didn't really get cool with my father until I was in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? There's 5 of us. So, you know, Pop was out here doing whatever. And, you know, grew up without him. You know, his time has passed. So it's like, I ain't gonna sit there and say that I don't scorn him for me having a shitty childhood. But I would say that it just made me a stronger man. But yeah, like, I'm sitting here and tell you, like, I miss my daddy. I do. For that little bit of time he was here, you know what I mean? He was more like a drinking buddy, you know what I'm saying, than anything. But, like, that still was time together. There still was time that he got to spend, you know what I'm saying, with me and his grandkids and, you know, me learning him and stuff like that. So rest in peace to him, man. But my message to go behind this is, if you sick, if you got an underlying health condition, somebody need to know. If you got kids, you got a wife, your husband, whatever, and they don't know that you got something going on, shame on you. If your especially if your affairs is not in order, right? This is a learning moment, right? When I went up in the hospital to see my dad, and he had every goddamn machine in the ICU hooked up to him. And I'm like, what's going on? They was like, oh, your dad got this, and this. And I'm like, what? He's, oh, you didn't know? No, I didn't. Oh, you know, your dad was on dialysis. Did you know? No. I ain't know none of this. His brother that was staying with him, he didn't know. So I'm like, how the hell ain't nobody know what was going on? I'm looking at him like, why you didn't say nothing? And his response, you know, at the time when he was able to talk was, well, I know you got the kids, you don't want to bother, but man, I don't want to hear that shit, man. You know what type of position you put somebody who got to step in here and care for you when you can't care for yourself. You're not telling them nothing. Had we had known that he had these underlying conditions, we would have been had his shit and all his life insurance and all this. He said he got life insurance. He ain't tell us who he had it with. You know what I'm saying? We had to fund that funeral out our pockets. You know what I'm saying? That's not an issue for me, but I'm like, bro, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? My cousin passed. You know what I'm saying? He had just told me last month that he had diabetes. Now, I'm pretty sure he knew before that. But I'm like, damn, bro, like, maybe it's something, you know, I mean, maybe they don't want to tell you because they figure, well, you got bad habits or whatever. Maybe you ain't going to stop doing it. You don't want nobody to stop you. Because if my dad said, yeah, my liver's failing, I'd have been like, yeah, look, nigga, the beer is gone. My dad drank beer every day, smoked cigarettes every day, at least a 6 a day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, I mean, you don't take care of your body, it's going to take care of you. You know, he died at 64 years old. Everybody like, so young. Yeah. Drinking beer every day, that shit'll take you out. Cheap beer at that. So make sure your affairs is in order. Make sure people know what's going on with you. Because it's nothing worse than being in the dark, dog. And now the next person up has to be responsible for your ass. So now I'm sitting there, I'm making sure they can keep you alive, but I'm also cutting my eye at you because I feel like this shit could have been avoided. That's the message, man. Awareness. Accountability and awareness, man. And let's take care of our bodies, man. Look, I'm a black man. All right. And we already know us as black people, shit be fucking up. And we got bad habits just like any other race, man. But we got to take care of ourselves. Everybody. We have to take care of ourselves better. And if you're not, you at least need to let somebody know what the fuck going on. So when it come time to bury your ass, everything is cool. Sorry if I had to get a little deep on y'all, man, but this is all recent shit that happened. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. But I'm gonna wrap this episode up, man. Again, man, if you new here and if you like this, man, and you think this is a place that you can fool with, I invite you to pull up a chair and sit with me, man. I invite you to sit here for the long haul because I'm gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure, subscribe, whatever you listening to this, man, hit that follow, hit that bell notification, tell somebody. And you know what I'm saying? We drop it every Tuesday and I'm glad to be back, man. All right. Captain out.